No, this will be tacked on to the last part. So what they see now should be exactly picked up from where we left off last week. So what we ended up doing was doing a bit of internet sleuthing, which is my favorite pastime, Jim's as well. And in between getting distracted by Facebook Marketplace, we discovered that there is a bolt-style puller, this one, also from Harbor Freight. But that's not important. The important part is that should stay. The important part is that should give us the pulling power that we need to get that pulley off, while also being able to apply even pressure. The issue is that we think the jaw puller was kind of squeezing the front of the pulley onto the snout of the crank, so it wasn't able to come off. It could also be because it's been there since the 70s, but that's beside the point. The point now today is we should be able to get that puller on. Now, I have a list of things we need to do today because it's quite a long one. I think we can start the car today, however. So what we need to do today is remove the old balancer, put the new one on, install the pulley, install the water pump, install the alternator, install the power steering, figure out the carbs, put the starter in, put the headers on, and then start it. And if that sounds like a lot to you, it's because it is. And it's...
Didn't add the rad.
We also need to do the rad. That's a good point. The problem is it's 40 degrees again today, where it was 60 last week. And neither one of us woke up on time. So we're gonna do our best today, and we're gonna get to work. Also, it's super dark outside, so filming today is gonna be a bit of a struggle. I'm gonna just give you a sorry in advance. But let's get started. Let's just do this. I wanna hear this thing run. I wanna go drive, and I need a nap already, and it's only 10:30.
So what are we doing, Jim?
Alright, we got the puller installed. It's onto the bolts.
Do we need more?
Right there. No, the bolts won't.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So only two.
I guess the other ones are for a 3-balance,
Yeah,
or a 3-bolt balancer.
Different styles, so it's kind of a universal fit idea.
Alright, so now what?
Now we just gotta turn this until it pulls it out.
Should we grease the threads a little bit?
With what?
Grease, I would presume. Oh, yeah, that'll work.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Come on, buddy, you can do it.
This might be more out of oil than I thought it was. Oh yeah, that's bone dry.
What happened to the oil, the wine bottle?
That's used oil. We don't want to use that. Gross.
It's fine.
Oh god, that's used oil too. That's gross.
It only gives us cancer in California, and last I checked, we're not in California.
I thought we weren't making that joke. It didn't make the cut in part 2.
By the way, if I do leave that in for any reason, Jim made that joke first and I cut it out because I didn't want to put it in.
Cut to it to prove.
Yeah, I will.
Shouldn't you be wearing gloves while you're spraying that on the engine?
Nah, man. These things are only known to cause cancer in California, and the fact we don't live in California means we can't get cancer from it.
Okay.
That's how it works.
It'll be messy, but it'll work. Yeah, this thing's coming right off.
I knew I had one somewhere. Careful. Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm not letting that happen. Well, that was anticlimactic.
I swear to God, if that thing goes right on there without any...
No, we could definitely pull that in with the
With the bolt? Alright, never mind. Do you want me to try to use the pry bar to hold the engine in?
Yeah. Something we're also gonna have to do.
Oh, right. I guess I can't do that with this on the ground. Alright, we'll have to do that when it's up in the air.
Yeah, but something we're also gonna have to do is figure out when top dead center is, so we could mark the correct timing marks. So normally, I would have matched the keyways up to then match up the timing marks here to then mark what the correct ones were, but
What happened to them, Jim?
we kind of pulled them off last time.
Yeah, that was my fault.
So now we have to find top dead and mark it correctly.
So, part of me, I don't know if you'll even be able to see. Yeah, so there are marks on here. The problem is there's also
There's 3 of them.
spare marks because
There's 3 different styles.
Yeah, the Windsor block. So the 351 has a different firing order than the 289, which has a different firing order from the 302, correct?
302, 289 have the same one unless it's a high output.
Okay.
302 shares the firing order with the
The skinny there is apparently the 351's cranks would snap if it had the other firing order, so they changed it. That's not super important right now. The important part is we have to figure out which one of those timing marks we need. On the other hand, turn the key and see what happens?
I mean, it's not going to do anything other than whenever we're going to time the engine, or if I ever have to set it to top dead center for like putting a camshaft in, then that's when it matters.
Well, but if the engine actually fires, we'll know which one's which.
In theory.
Yeah, we can timing light it though.
Yeah, but it still won't let us know which one.
Well, they're
'Cause it's
offset. They're offset. So the 2 in the back, and
okay.
then there's 1 in front.
That's fine.
So if it's one of the 2 in the back, we're still in the same boat because we need to figure out which one of the 2 it is.
Then we ball.
Yeah, if it's the one in the front, then we're good. All right. That SOB is on with a little bit less clearance than I would like, but it's not touching anything. That's the important part. What's next? Do you want to do water pump next, or do you want to do...
What's next is we should probably put it up in the air, hold it, and put some fucking zest behind our tightening.
Yeah, but we're already here. Actually, you know what we should do? We should talk about the carburetor. Because we are
could
already
do that.
here. Yeah.
Alrighty, so
We have our Carbosaurus Rexes.
yeah, these things are magic to me. I understand that air and fuel go in here, but I don't understand how it's metered or how it comes out here not hateful. So
I could talk to them, but sometimes they say words I don't quite understand.
yeah, I like your funny words, magic man. So basically, last week we were still kind of confuzzled about which one of these was the proper one to use. Now, if you're not paying attention, this is the one off the 351.
As you can see with all of its broken throttle linkage goodness,
And that's the one off of the 289.
which is nice and together and beautiful looking.
Now, what I figured out last week was that they are nearly identical.
And what I found out last week is they are identical.
So basically, what we figured out was that this one is a Motorcraft, that one is an Autolite,
Yep.
and as my dad informed me very offhandedly, like I should have known this.
They're the same.
Yeah, Autolite was Ford's parts catalog back in the 60s, and at some point in the 70s they switched to Motorcraft, which it would make sense just based on the vintage of this engine versus that one.
Yep, this one was taken off a 60s engine and it's Autolite. That was a 70s engine and it's Motorcraft.
So
And looking into it, they are both the 2-barrel, so they'd be the 2100 series carburetors.
yeah,
And one of the ways to tell I found was by flipping it over and looking at that bridge there. And as you can see, it's curved. If it was a 2150, it would be flat.
oh,
So you got that curve.
I'm
And
gonna
it's
just
not flat.
I'm gonna just pretend like I knew that already, because as I said, carburetors are magic to me, and I have no idea.
And then I also ran part numbers on these tags here and found that they both share the .048 of an inch jet. So the jetting is the same, the CFM is the same, maybe a little different style differences in some of the choke and some other pieces, but it's the same carburetor.
And the styling differences could honestly just be down to the era. They might have made some tweaks to this one that aren't necessary but were easier for manufacturing that one just didn't have.
Identical.
What Jim figured out was that they are identical. So what we're gonna do,
This nice, fresh 289 carburetor, which I believe the previous owner rebuilt because a lot of the seals in it look pretty new, as well as the gasket underneath it. We're gonna take it and we're gonna bolt it on it. And that one is going to be figured out from there, but probably junk.
Yeah.
Spare parts.
now I do normally have a habit of throwing things, but as he did say, spare parts, this one's gonna stay here in safety. Or,
so carb's in. All right, trans in. Did that. Fuel lines, plumb vacuum lines, no. Figure out water pump, kind of. Fill washer fluid, special surprise, carb. Got the carb, that's it. So all we have to do now is figure out the water pump, power steering, fuel lines, plumb, all that stuff. Fill washer fluid and do the thing that I forgot to edit out last week. Sweet.
Yeah, I did most of the, when I was figuring out the carburetor, I was down here figuring out most of the plumbing.
Did you hear that, audience? Jim robbed you of the fun of watching him plumb vacuum lines.
CCD line. Kind of like stole this off the 289, stole that off the 289. Plugged up all the vacuum ports back here we're not using.
That water pump, or the heater core line that he's playing with right here is, the best way I could describe it is stupid. It goes straight up and then has to do like a loop-de-loop to get down back to the heater core. It looks dumb, but it works. Oh yeah, that's great for the water system in this car.
It'll be fine.
Oh, this fuel line is very dry. Quit helping. So here's what we just discovered. So there's a spacer. Yeah, he just showed that. And the alternator fits now. So then we just need to do power steering now.
Yep.
Oh my god. Don't drink that. Okay, so this power steering pump has not been used in a couple of years. Look how much it's still leaking.
I missed.
He's been doing this for like probably 5 minutes now. If you see the bucket moving, that's the Dodge.
Maybe torque converter nut is wrong nut. I was just gonna double nut it.
Yeah.
That's because it's locking.
Let's not damage the thread, shall we?
I stopped, didn't I? Didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Still got a good pucker there. So we had the wrong bolt. Apparently it's not a bolt, and it is in fact a stud that came off of the block going through the power steering. The trouble now is the double bolt method we had to use. That one on the end there is a torque converter bolt, not quite the right thread pitch, so we're gonna have to figure that one out now.
Not quite that it's the wrong thread pitch, it's a locking nut, so it locked on it.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to commit some war crimes to get it off, but
Nah, give it a little, and we're good.
289 still giving us some hope. That's not gonna fit. Nope. Alright, well.
The original thread pitch before the helical oil.
Yeah, so it looks like, if you're not really going to be able to see it because it's kind of back there, but there's a helicoil in that that thread.
Now, by this point, we had started to realize that something was definitely wrong with the bracket that we had for this engine. Come to find out later that there was a missing bracket we needed to convert a 289's power steering pump to a 351. However, at this point, we kind of started to just do whatever we could, including but not limited to trying to find new bolts. We ended up resorting to cutting apart some random bolts we found that could possibly be long enough to be the proper size. However, this did not go as planned, and in the end we just dropped the power steering idea for the first start, as we really didn't need power steering to start the car. Unfortunately, it did take us an unreasonable amount of time to admit defeat. What else is new? After we decided to give up on the power steering, it was time to start on the electrical stuff. Now, there is very little on this car, but we needed to get it done before we got the headers in.
Alright, let me go get the breaker bar. Click. Okay, saying the click does not equal torqued click.
I have a calibrated elbow, dude.
With a fresh oil change done and all the auxiliary bits that we needed to finish complete, now all we had to do was fire some starting fluid into the carb and turn the key.
You're good.
Oh, Copper, I'm sorry.
Oh, buddy boy. All right, buddy. I think we're done for the day. I think we had a pretty good day today.
Yeah, pretty good day. Probably still going to break it up into 2 parts, though.
Yeah, so that the beginning of this episode, you're going to have a very awkward intro, but it'll be fine.
Awkward intro until... I still think you should do what we talked about. I think that would be funny.
Yeah, it would. Okay. Unfortunately, we did get it running. There's no fuel pressure.
Not unfortunately. Fortunately,
well, yeah, fortunately,
we got it running.
It runs. We know that, and the engine sounds pretty good. It is header dump right now, so it is loud. Next time I need to make sure I bring some hearing protection.
It's not that loud.
My ears are a little messed up.
It's not that loud.
Gaze to someone with tinnitus.
It's not that loud.
You're just deaf.
What?
Right. So we decided to stop there today. We'll diagnose what's going on with the fuel. My hypothesis is no pressure, and the fuel in there was ethanol-based. It's been sitting for 2 years. It's probably mostly water by now. His hypothesis is spray more starter fluid at it until it runs.
Prime's the pump. There ain't no prime to that pump. It's got to get all the pressure to it.
Yeah, but it's going to prime water. We'll deal with that in the next episode. We got a lot done today. This engine is in a state where it could be running and driving like that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take the shop dog somewhere else because...
We scared the literal crap out of him.
Yeah, that was unexpected, but with ears like this, maybe we should have expected that.
He's still shaking from it and everything, too.
That's on us.
Yeah.
We should have thought about that, so we feel bad, and we're not going to push it any farther than we got. Just that little initial bump.
Little taste.
Little taste for you. But... we're both really excited and we want to do more, but it's getting late and I need to get ready for the week and all that. So that's going to end this episode for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new around here. Go leave a comment. Go tell me your first experience with a Mustang, because everyone seems to have an experience with a Mustang at some point in their life. If you're a returning subscriber, feel free to leave a comment as well. Tell us your experience. And as always, thank you. You make this all possible. But as always, peace out, everyone.
All right, quick little solo update here. Filled up the coolant system. I also got and ran a new fuel line, so we are no longer using this pinched off old piece of fuel line. I will be installing the power steering adapter bracket I found and going from there.